Hi, I'm Chris. I'm 50 years old. I'm originally from London, but I now live in Dubai. In 2018, in August 2018, so just coming up to 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy. It was believed it was caused by a virus. There doesn't seem to be any issues or history in my family. At the time I was diagnosed, my ejection fraction was 15%. I wasn't really having any symptoms, so I was very lucky. I'd imagine I'd be classed as class 1 on the heart failure scale. In March this year, my ejection fraction was estimated at 52%, so it's a huge improvement. I've been very lucky still to not suffer any symptoms. However, although I've had pretty positive experience, there has been some drawbacks. The shock of diagnosis was the biggest one. I was really shook up by that. I felt fear. I was ignorant of the condition. And to a little extent, I was also mourning what I expected my life to be like in coming years. Plans that I'd made were no longer, or may no longer be valid. Though, let's see, that might not be the case either. I also suffered a little bit in the evenings. For the first 3 or 4 months, I was pretty positive. I wasn't overly worried too much. But I found that a couple of hours before going to bed, I was becoming a bit nervous and worried, and it played on my mind that it was such a serious illness. In fact, at diagnosis, my cardiologist had said to me that it would have been better for me if I'd have had a heart attack, because he'd have had more information on how to deal with it. And that's a bit of a shock to hear that. But the way I treated both of those issues, the one with the unknown, I started looking into information, trying to understand my illness and my condition in a much better way. The cardiomyopathy.org website is invaluable for information. The nurses are excellent if you phone them up, and they'll give you information and comfort and try to explain the situation to you. And I found that very, very beneficial. I also looked at a couple of courses. For example, on Open Learn, there's some courses. One of them's from the University of Reading, I think it is, where they explained how the heart works and the functions and what goes wrong. And that made it a lot easier to understand where I was. When it came to the fear factor, I actually treated it in a bit of a strange way. I started visualizing. So I'd just sit down for 5 minutes and just imagine my next doctor's appointment, and that the doctor would give me good news. And after a while, that really worked. I wasn't getting nervous or anxious about things. The other big help, of course, was talking to other people that had the same or similar conditions. I was lucky that in Dubai there was a couple of people that also had cardiomyopathy, although different types. We met for a cup of tea and had a chat, and that really helped. You're talking to people that have had the similar condition as you for several years, and you can see that they're coping, and it does bring a big relief. The problems are with DCM, apart from obviously the medical side of it, it's not widely known about. No one really understands it, and even people that do, you've got to take into account that everyone is slightly different. However, I'm very optimistic. I do see that I'm on a set of medication that has been very successful. My ejection fraction's gone from 15% to 52%. That's amazing, and mostly it's down to the medication. I'm not even on the latest drugs. I'm aware that there's other drugs available. I spoke to my doctor about it. He said, you're doing well on the drugs you're taking now. We'll save these for later just in case. So I've got options in the future, and that makes me very optimistic. Medical science is also coming along leaps and bounds. Last year, someone printed a 3D rabbit heart. I mean, can you imagine? So God knows what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So I feel pretty good about it. One of the big things, though, I do believe that's helped me is that I'm naturally a positive person. I'm genuinely optimistic. Now, it's not easy for everyone. Not everyone is optimistic. Not everyone's positive. And it can bring you down if you get terrible news, like a diagnosis. But I think it's just about, enjoying the good days. Everyone has good days and bad days, regardless if you've got cardiomyopathy, even if you're perfectly healthy, that this happens. When you have a good day, don't worry about what's going to happen on the bad days, because you're just wasting a good day. Make the most of the good days. I do actually also think that my gratitude in being diagnosed. I'm aware how many people aren't diagnosed, and then obviously serious consequences follow. I was diagnosed. I was lucky to have an excellent doctor, and he picked up on my problem, and he's treating it very well. So that's a big tick, that's a big plus. But also the positivity in general, maybe framing how you look at your illness. I was shocked recently when someone described me as having a bad heart. I don't have a bad heart. I regard my heart as a hero. Even when I had an EF of 15%, he was still turning up for work every day and pumping out like a good one. He's a hero. I never considered him to be in any way deficient. And that helps as well, just being happy with what you got. And, look forward to the future. You still have one. No one knows how long it is, regardless you've got cardiomyopathy or not. But generally, I think the positivity will help. And if you speak to other people and see how well they've dealt with their condition, hopefully they've dealt with it in a good way, that should help you too. I hope everyone's okay, all the best, and stay safe in these difficult times. Bye-bye.